So you want to play Minecraft Bedrock Edition with your friends, but you don't have the money to give to a server hosting website or to Microsoft for a realm. I'm going to help with that. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to set up port forwarding on your router. Most of the time people tend to put this near the end of the video, but it's probably the most important part of this process, so I want to do it early on. Firstly, we want to get the local IP address of the computer we are using. To do this, type CMD into the Windows Start menu and open up Command Prompt. This will open a black window with some text on it. From there, type in IP config. There will now be a list of numbers and words on the screen. We are looking for two things here. The first is the IPv4 address, which typically starts with a 192.168.0.blank. The IPv4 address is going to be the local IP address of the computer that you are currently using, and the default gateway is your router's IP address. Copy both the IPv4 and default gateway addresses to a text document as they are both needed. Now we will set the static IP address of the computer so that every time it turns on, it should always have the same IP address. First, we need to open Control Panel, then go Network and Internet, then go Network and Sharing Center, then click Change Adapter Options. Double-click on your primary network driver, then select Properties, then double-click on Internet Protocol version 4. Under General, click Use the following IP address, enter in the current IP address of the computer which we found in IP config under IPv4 address. Doing this will force the computer to always use the same local IP address when it turns on. It's important because if the local IP address of your computer changes, you will need to update your port forward settings with the new IP. And under Default Gateway, we're going to enter in the default gateway IP address. Next, we want to log into our router's GUI to make the changes to the ports that are open on the router. To do this, enter in the default gateway IP address into your browser. You should then be prompted with a login page. If you don't know the username and password for the router, you should be able to find it on the manufacturer's website, or you may have to contact your internet service provider to get access to the router. Do note, some internet providers do not allow people to do port forwarding on rented routers. Once you log into your router, you will need to find where the port forwarding settings are. Almost all routers have the same functionality, they just have a slightly different layout or naming scheme, so figuring out how to open the ports should be pretty easy. Most router manufacturers have forums where people have already asked how to open ports for other games, or Minecraft specifically, and Reddit can also be a great place to look for this information. Locate the settings to port forward, or in some cases like mine, the NAT settings. Now we're going to open the correct port that we need for Minecraft. I'm going to select Virtual Servers, Add, then add a name that makes sense for the port to easily recognize what it is. Then for ports, I'm going to use 19132, since this is the default port for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. For the most part, you can set the ports to whatever you want, as long as they don't interfere with other already open or well-known ports that are required for the internet. See the Iana.org port assignments if you wish to use your own ports for the Minecraft server instead of the default ones. For the destination address, this is going to be the local IP address of the computer that we found when we ran the ipconfig command. If your router gives you the option to select both UDP and TCP, then select both. If it doesn't allow you to select both at the same time, make sure to create a second rule for whichever protocol you did not select. Now we want to go to the first link in the description to download the Minecraft Bedrock Server files. Agree to the EULA, then click download. Once the download is finished, move the zip file to your desktop or wherever you want to keep your server files located. Right-click on the zip file, then click Extract All. Once the file is completed extracting, open the new folder that was just created. This will have all of your Minecraft server files and an executable to run to start the Bedrock server. Double-click on the bedrock_server.exe file and you should see a command prompt window open. Once this window is open, you may get a dialog asking if you want to allow the server past your Windows firewall. Select Only on Private Networks, then Allow Access. At this point, you will need to figure out what your WAN or external IP address is. This is what will allow your friends to connect to your server. To do this, go to whatismyip.com and copy the IPv4 address. Now launch Bedrock and click play, then online, then scroll down to add a server and type a name for your server so that you can easily find it. Then paste your external IPv4 address into the server address. Now you should be able to join your server and your friends will be able to as well. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate a like. Thank you. Bye for now.